Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday, the 26th day of December 2024. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. I hope your family's safe and healthy. I hope that you all enjoy. Those of you that had the day off yesterday, many people, I didn't, many people had to work. But those that didn't, I hope you enjoyed your day off. And that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are out here trying to save lives, and those that pick up garbage, keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia, and people that are helping those that are victims of pornography, child pornography, prostitution, child prostitution, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and those perverts that create the demands for these evil industries. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly more than 600,000 men, women, children, families, veterans, senior citizens, homeless in the United States and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game yesterday at Madison Square Garden. The New York Knicks won a thriller at Madison Square Garden over the San Antonio Spurs, 117 to 114. And make no mistake, first of all, Victor Wembanyama is the real deal. And San Antonio is coming. And San Antonio has a culture so that Greg Popovich wasn't on the sideline, but the interim coach was just like Greg Popovich. They have a culture, they have a system, and this is exactly what we want the Knicks to ascribe to. Set up a culture, a system, that anybody that comes into that system fits in the system and runs the system and culture the way they want it run in the organization. So that being said, the game was won. Well, on a cursory level, Mikal Bridges showed up and showed out. Okay, they got 5 on it now. That's 5 straight for the Knicks. Many of us, or some of us, never got off the Mikal Bridges train. In fact, you all know I've been calling for him to come to the Knicks for 2 years. I've been making him the exception for any trade. I love the team as it was, except if they could get Mikal Bridges. Well, they got him. And now, earlier in the season, people was doubting him because he was going through a time. And remember, we were talking, and I said he's going to go back to his average. He's a 40% career three-point shooter. And so I think he was shooting 20%. And I told you, what does that mean? It means he's going to go on a tear. Well, guess what we're now seeing? He's going on a tear. Okay. So he dropped 41 yesterday. Victor Wembanyama dropped 42. Victor Wembanyama is a tremendous, tremendous talent. All they need is experience. That's all they need. And they're getting it every game that he plays. Devin Vassell, Victor Wembanyama, Champagne, whatever his name is, Castle, all of those young guys developing. And that's how you do. You develop those young guys, and then it's going to come a time when they're all at a certain level, and then they'll maybe trade a couple of them for a better veteran player, and they'll be ready to go. And San Antonio has been doing this for 30 years, long time, going back to George Gervin. But when they had Greg Popovich on board in the 90s, that's when this whole culture really went to a new level. And so the game, though, was really won on points in the paint and points off turnovers. If you recall, we talk about Knicks basketball, defense, perimeter defense, rebounding, okay, controlling the basketball. Controlling the basketball was big time yesterday. See, if you look at the stats, the Knicks only had 26 assists, and I say only because we know they've been getting 30 on a regular basis. San Antonio had 33 assists. The Knicks out-rebounded the Spurs by 2, 45-47, but the big one was offensive rebounds, which we know are important in the Thibodeau scheme. So they got the San Antonio Spurs got 8 offensive rebounds, the Knicks got 17. And we saw at the end, Josh Hart. Some of y'all still calling for him to come off the bench. Not right now. Not right now. But San Antonio hit 16 threes. The Knicks hit 13 threes. San Antonio shot 42% from three. Knicks shot 33% from three. San Antonio shot 51% from the field. The Knicks shot 45% from the field. So how did they win the game? Well, first I mentioned the offensive rebounds. That was huge. So the Knicks got 9 extra second chance points than San Antonio did because of the offensive rebounds. Mentioned the turnovers. The Knicks only had 5 turnovers yesterday. Those 5 turnovers that the Knicks had led to 7 points for San Antonio. Whereas San Antonio had 15 turnovers. The Knicks turned them over 15 times. And that led to 21 points for the Knicks. So you can see in a 3-point game, and it really was a 6-point game, and then Chris Paul come up, and he's been doing that his whole career, clutch 3 to bring it to 3 points with about 40-something seconds left. Now, but the game was won on the turnovers and the offensive rebounds, and it was emblematic at the end that Josh Hart got 2 very big offensive rebounds in the last possession to cause the clock to run out and the Knicks to win the basketball game. That was emblematic because the offensive rebounds. Now, yesterday, again, we saw Precious Achiuwa come off the bench, and there was, and both of them Ebus, Precious Achiuwa, the game people, grown-ass man energy people. This is OG Anunoby, of course, and Precious Achiuwa is also in that school of grown-ass man energy. And the thing is that Precious Achiuwa come off the bench and gets 10 rebounds, 4 on the offensive end. Okay? Of course, he was playing tremendous defense on Victor Wembanyama or anybody else that was out there. And then, of course, at the end, they put the king of grown-ass man energy, OG Anunoby, directly on Victor Wembanyama. And this is where being light in the behind a little bit, hurts you a little bit. He's got, Victor, that is, got all kind of athleticism, all kind of agility for somebody that's 7'6", 7'5", ridiculous. But when you got grown-ass man, bringing you into a pretzel, it's kind of tough to score. So OG only had 8 points yesterday. But the defense between him and Precious and the rebounding and defense of Precious Achiuwa, that was the ball game. Okay? And so between and Tibbs went with 7 yesterday. Campaign just didn't have it yesterday. He was minus 10, 2 points. He just 1 for 3. He just didn't have it yesterday. No, it don't happen. It's the league. So he played 7. Deuce played 30 minutes. Precious played 20 minutes. And then there was the starters. Mikal Bridges, though, of course, he plays 43 minutes. And at the end of the 43 minutes, you'd think he didn't play a game at all. It's almost like a marathon runner that could just keep going and going and going and going and going, So 41, he was knocking down that fadeaway. And I always thought eventually that fadeaway was going to start falling. It's almost impossible to guard because he got the 7-foot wingspan. And so when he's throwing that fadeaway in there from talking about mid-range, it's going on. So he was hitting the threes. He hit 6 threes yesterday. And then he was 17 of 25. Again, kudos to Jalen Brunson. He was looking, the whole team looking for Mikal, knowing he was the hot hand. And the Knicks playing right now the most beautiful brand of basketball I have seen them ever play since Clyde, DeBusschere, Lucas, Bill Bradley, and them play. Willis Reed. They move the ball. They hit the open man. They feed the hot hand. Yesterday was Mikal. And again, he ended up with 41. Gato Grande only took 16 shots, but he got 9 boards, 21 points. Brunson, he was 7 for 23. Again, he wasn't shooting the way he would normally shoot, but 9 assists, 7 boards. And again, he feeding Mikal Bridges. Deuce McBride wasn't shooting well, 2 of 10, but he hit a big time 3 at the end of the 4th quarter to help the Knicks extend their lead. That was huge. That was huge, aside from, of course, his stellar defense. So, and of course, there's Josh Hart, 12 points, 12 boards, 5 offensive rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. Yeah, you keep him in the starting line. Let's stop that conversation. Once we get Mitch Rob back and we get size on the second unit, you could talk about putting Josh in the second unit and starting Precious. Then we go to a whole new level. But for now, this is working. We got 5 straight. The Knicks have had 2 4-game winning streaks, and now this is their first 5-game winning streak of the season. And still, after 30 games right now, there's only 6 teams that have won at least 20 games. And the Knicks are among that 6. Okay? So of all, and that's in the whole league, there's only 6 teams that have won at least 20 games out of 30. And Knicks are in that six group. So yeah, they're doing extremely well, 20 and 30. The 667 winning percentage is the percentage that's on pace for 55 wins. Look at that. And I think they're going to do better. I think their winning percentage is going to go up a little bit. Again, because we know Mitchell Robinson's coming back. They're now getting acclimated on the defensive end of the floor. They got it all. It's all coming together as we thought it would, as we get to the midpoint of the season. And like we said, Tibbs usually takes about 30 games to decide, what he wants his line to be. But this year was a little different because he hadn't had, for 21 games, he did not have Precious Achiuwa. Okay, he missed campaign for like 5 games. He missed Deuce for like 5 games, and he still doesn't have Mitchell Robinson. So he hasn't been able to really see his crew for 30 games or even 20 games, quite frankly. But I don't think he needs to make any changes, and he won't probably make any changes anyway until Mitchell Robinson returns. Once Mitchell Robinson returns, you might see him start Precious Achiuwa and bring Josh Hart off the bench with Mitchell Robinson. And again, you're talking about Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart, Deuce McBride, Cameron Payne, or Landry Shamet, who we didn't see yesterday. Tibbs chose not to play him yet. That's on Tibbs. But, we got a game tomorrow in Orlando, and then it's a back-to-back second one in Washington, which will be there. So we'll be there behind the Knicks bench for that second one. So, that's what we're talking about. And the Knicks are doing well. They're doing very well. And we just need to be patient. The thing is, in Knicks Nation, especially those idiots on Twitter, they're only patient for about 5 minutes. And that's it. The minute the Knicks lose a game, or don't, God forbid, lose 2 in a row, the whole world ends. They suck now. It's like I'm seeing people attack Julius Randle in the Minnesota Timberwolves because, he struggled a little bit and he shouldn't start and we got to trade him. It's so stupid. Really, you just want to just let them gel. Julius is new to Minnesota, new to that team. You got to let them gel. And they will. They will. It just takes time. Now, I'm not saying Juju is the same as Gato. He's not. But you got to let them. You still got to let them gel. They're 6-4 in their last 10. The Minnesota Timberwolves, and they're really a game and a half from the 5th seed. See, so they'll be there at the end. Ant is too good, and Juju, frankly, is too good. They're too good of a team. They really are. In spite of how bad the Knicks made them look on last Thursday night. And again, this is the league. Everybody has those type of nights. Even the Knicks have had those type of nights. But you don't judge the whole 82-game season on that, especially when a team is well put together like Minnesota is. Dante DiVincenzo's he's going to go off. Eventually, he's going to get real comfortable, and he's going to be just like we saw him last year on the Knicks. He's going to be like that on Minnesota. It just takes time, okay? But some of y'all be rushing, and then with all the gambling involved, y'all can't have no patience. But anyway, I'm glad I'm not doing that stuff because I can sit back and watch it and let it develop like we're watching our Knicks develop. And they will continue to develop. So right now, the Knicks are a game and a half ahead of Orlando in the East. They're in the 3rd seed in the East right now. But don't look now. But the Knicks are only 2 games behind the 2nd seed Boston Celtics, who have lost 2 in a row. They're only 2 games behind the 2nd seed Boston Celtics. Here we come. I told y'all, somebody's going to lose their spot. And Cleveland is 6 games in front of the Knicks for first place and 4 games in front of Celtics for first place. But listen here, Cleveland is going to have to deal with some things. Look at this. So starting Friday, the 27th, right? Cleveland has a 4-game road trip. Now it's their turn. They go into Denver on Friday. They go into Golden State on Monday. They go into LA to play the Lakers on Tuesday, and they finish the road trip at Dallas on January 3rd. Then they get Cupcake Charlotte, but then they got Oklahoma City at home. Then they got Toronto, Toronto ain't no slouch now, as we know. And then you got 2 games against home and home with Indiana. And again, when they go on the road January 14th against Indiana, they stay on the road, go from Indiana to Oklahoma City to our friends in Minnesota. Then they come back home to play Phoenix. Then they go back on the road to play Houston. Yeah, somebody losing their spot. The only thing about the Knicks is we've only played, I think this coming weekend will be this only the second back-to-back. But you know what? The Knicks have had a number of long road trips already. 3 and 4 game road trips. So we went through that hell already. So yeah, we could play some back-to-back, especially when Mitchell Robinson returns. We'll be all right. Okay? We have no problem with that. And I think that the back-to-back start piling up for the Knicks in February and March. That's when they start playing a lot of back-to-backs, February and March. So we'll be all right, though. But right now, we good. And we here. And we got 5 on it. And we going into Orlando for tomorrow. You can't sleep on them. Them dudes are gritty. Jamal Mosley got them boys battling. No Mo, no Vaughn, no Franz, no Paulo. And they still here. Got to give it to them. So it ain't going to be an easy game. And they just won their first, Knicks, at the game I was at 2 weeks ago, they just won their first game in Orlando in the Josh Hart era. Since Josh Hart has been here, they have not, that was the first time they won in Orlando. Okay? Hopefully they broke the ice. Let's do another one for tomorrow. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But for now, y'all enjoy this ride. We're on a ride. Remember, it's an 82 game grind now. We did 30. We got 52 more games. It's still a long season. But I'm liking the way they're looking. They're playing beautiful basketball right now. We have guys like Mikal was the dude yesterday. It could be Grande. It could be Brunson. It could be Deuce. And I'm telling y'all, Deuce is about due to break out and get a 20-point game soon. I'm looking for that. He's going to do it. And so here it comes, y'all. Here it comes. Here Campaign had 19 the other day. See, it was his turn. See, so the Knicks got that kind of squad. We got it like that, y'all. No need to. Somebody was on because of this. Some knucklehead was out here talking about Jordan Clarkson. The Knicks are interested in Jordan Clarkson, and who are they gonna trade for? What? They ain't got no money, right? I mean, some people don't think. And then some, I could always tell when somebody is bought into that crap. Come out y'all and talk about, I think they're one bench piece away. The Knicks don't need nobody. The guy they're going to get at the trade deadline is this dude named Mitchell Robinson. And we good. You all enjoy this ride. You're watching something historic. You should understand that. I've been a fan for more than 50 years. And I ain't seen this since 50 years ago. You watching something historic. Some of you youngin' heads should understand that. You may not see this again the rest of your life. Enjoy it. So.